Okay, when I left last time I was talking about the stencils you can use instead of the yogurt container, and you can get these at Michael's. You get 3 sheets. I forget what the price was, but it's the same. In fact, it's a little bit thicker than the yogurt containers, but it'll work just fine for you. Okay, so what I did while I was gone last time, I made a new base, a new top upper sole for my shoe that's going to match more in line with this one. So I'm going to take my plastic, which I cut correctly to the right size this time, and I'm going to glue the top of this form. Same thing, I don't want to saturate the fabric, but I want enough on it so that the fabric will stick. And this one has a right side and a wrong side. So I'm going to put the wrong side against the plastic, like this. If you don't have enough, that's fine. Just add a little bit and tuck it down. Okay, same with the other side. Okay, I'm going to cut it off. We're going to cut it the same exact shape as our strap. Okay, so there's that. We're going to leave that to the side for a minute. And then we're going to make our edgings. So what I did is I cut some bias strip, piece of bias strip from my fabric, and I cut it 1.25 inches. But it's totally up to you how thick you want. This is just one example how thick you want your design to be on the strap. It could be it could be whatever you want. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my sewing machine out, my iron out. Plugged in already. Let's get it hot. Just let that sit there for a little bit. As that gets hot, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this in half, and this is on bias, so you can see that it's got a little give to it. On as little as these shoes are, you really don't even have to be on the bias, because I think it would work okay without it, but it can't hurt if it's on the bias. So while the iron is heating up, I'm going to show you what I did with this. I made a couple of red and black soles, and I have a piece of fabric that has designs in it. It's got little, I think this is VIP, I'm not sure. Anyway, it's got a bunch of different designs in it, and if you ever heard of a thing called Fussy cut, in fact that ruler I had is a fussy cut ruler. A fussy cut is, you can get this at any of the quilt shows, you don't need it though, or quilt stores, you don't need it for this. But it's just to show you what it is. Say I want to make this my centerpiece, so what you do is you take your fussy cut ruler and you center it, and you have little things where you can make marks in there so you know exactly where you want to cut. So say you were making like a hot pad holder and you wanted this design to be right dead center, this is what a fussy cut ruler does for you. So what I did is I fussy cutted these marching ladybugs. So once I had that, I put it on my frame, on my molded piece, and I'm going to make a pair of ladybug sandals. I found a pattern too that's going to be so cute because it's a little pinafore, and I'm going to make these marching ladybugs across the bodice of her pinafore too, so that'll be really cute, and maybe a little hat. I was thinking like a where is that? Oh, here she is. This is a pattern, one of those patterns that I was showing you on one of the other videos, but it's got a little sun hat, and I was thinking that would be so cute with the red and the ladybug material, and then put a little red ladybug button right here, so it'll just look like that with these red and black fabrics. I think that would be an adorable outfit. So that's on my plans of things to do. So, and this is reversible too, if you want to give her a purple hat. She also, you know, very cute. Okay, so I think my iron is hot enough, and I forgot to set the timer, so I have no idea how much time I have left. Okay, so as that's probably hot enough now, let's move these out of the way. I'm going to sew this. I'm going to iron it, just to iron it flat, and then I'm going to turn it. I hope you can see this. I'm going to turn it just once in half, and I'm going to press it. You can buy bias tape at any of the sewing stores, and you could use it. I have some yellow here that, you know, this is the regular bias tape. But and you can get it in different thicknesses. You can get the tubing. You can get piping, is what I'm trying to say, in the bias tape, so you don't have to make your own. But if you want everything to match, and it's easier to make your own, and it's much cheaper, because I'm using very little fabric here. Okay, so I got it hot. I pressed it in half, and then now I'm pressing it in quarters. And once you've pressed it, you're going to put it all together. And like I said, this was a bad example to use because it's got a lot of sizing in it. Just hold it down. Don't hold it too hot so it'll starch. I mean, it'll scorch, but hot enough so it'll hold its shape. Okay. Alright. So once we've got that, we've made our own piece of bias tape, and we're going to take our form, and we're going to do 2 pieces of bias tape, one for each side, and we're going to glue it, one on this side and one on the other. And then once we have those 2 together, we're going to put them on our actual form. And I don't know how much time I have left. So anyway, let me show you a couple examples of what you can do with these things. Here's another one. You can take your molding, cover it with fabric, and then you can use your designer scissors and cut these. And you don't even really have to worry about finishing them off, because they're doll shoes, and you're only making them for pennies anyway. It's probably make a pair of doll shoes out of this, and you're probably talking about a nickel. So, you know, what's the big deal? This is that same pattern here. I cut one of the, I glued this turtle to a piece of fabric, and you can take these and actually glue them to the top of your hat. You can do something like that. That's a cute idea too, depending on what you're making for your kid. Another thing you can do is, like I said, the fussy cut, and then you also have this design too. This is the same fabric as this, And what I did is I cut out a hibiscus, and I just put fabric on both sides and cut the hibiscus shape out. So what I can do is I can actually glue this hibiscus to the top of these sandals if that's something I want to do. Say I want to bling it up, you can take any of your beads and you can put some bling on it and make it all nice and shiny. Or you can just take your molded form and add your beads to it all the way around and just glue your beads on and make a nice shiny shoe. Whatever you want to do, there's so many possibilities to these molded shoes that you can do virtually anything you want. So you can, bling it up. Okay, so once that I've got this done, I'm just going to take this is just same size of, this is a quarter of an inch, inch and a quarter bias that I folded and did it the same way as this. But this time I just sewed it on the sewing machine. And once I sewed it on the sewing machine, I inserted a strip of elastic, and I believe this is for the Journey Girl dolls. This is about a 4.5 inch strip of elastic for these shoes. And then I just put a little bit of, and the fabric was probably maybe 5 inches of fabric in a 5.5 inches of fabric strip of 1.25 inch, and then a 4.5 inch of elastic. And that's how you're going to get your strap. You're going to need enough strap so you can actually put it on the back of because you're going to glue it. After you get your bias tape on, you're going to glue it on each side like this before you glue it down on your shoe so you can have your strap. Okay? Alright, that's it. I'll see you later.